I'm sharing today's lesson. Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Guys, welcome to lesson 19 of digital marketing. As you know, this week we are doing online classes. And, since we are now moving towards the submission of assignments, which is next week, so we can't be saying next month anymore. It's actually next week. Uh, it doesn't help to start new theories or new concepts when you guys are busy with your assignments. But it just means that it will create more confusion. Already, some of you are you are already confused as you are doing the assignment. So this week you are going to be doing revision. Revision actually works because it also gives you an opportunity to revisit your assignment, especially some of the questions that you have already answered in the assignment. But I know that there are those people uh, whose Lord is their shepherds who start the assignment on Friday when the deadline is on Friday. That's very dangerous, guys. I wouldn't um, I wouldn't recommend you to do so. For me, I mean, the assignment opens this Saturday and it is due next Friday. By Monday, Tuesday, you should be done with the assignment so that you can have ample time to revise it. Then by Thursday, you should be able to submit that assignment. You don't have to wait until last minute on Friday at 11:30 when the assignment itself it's due at 59:23. I mean, anything can happen, guys. You know, we live in the digital age and the assignment itself is being submitted digitally, but servers do crash. It could happen that maybe on Friday, all of a sudden, core campus is not available, or all of a sudden there's load shedding. You know what's happening in this country. Or all of a sudden you run out of data, you haven't loaded data on your router, and or all of a sudden your PC has crashed. So you must be prepared for all of these unexpected glitches that could affect your submission of the assignment, because at the end of the day, you had a week to submit this. So if you come then with last minute excuses, unfortunately, we always tell you that you had 6 days to do this assignment. Most of us, when we were studying, we only had 1 day to submit an assignment. We're not given this opportunity to have such an opening to do the assignment. So we are going to do revision, guys, on all the chapters that we've discussed so far. I think from my own point of view, this subject is very amazing. Remember, previously I did not lecture digital marketing too. So far, most of the stuff that we've done already, I find them very fascinating. It is stuff that we come across in our daily lives. It is also revision for me. It's not like I do not know this stuff, but for the fact that I never thought of having engagement or discussions around these stuffs, it is also giving me a fresh view on how we must see products, a fresh view on how we must unpack the 7P elements, how we must understand digital media in an evolving digital landscape. So we are doing revision on chapter 1 and 2 in your textbook, and you guys must keep understanding the aspects that we come across, because these aspects actually determine how you are going to plan a digital strategy for a marketing campaign and how you are going to implement that digital strategy. For example, if you do not understand digital media, in South Africa, how are you going to come up with a digital marketing strategy? Because it means that that campaign must also be delivered through digital platforms. So we need to understand all these things that are happening. So I'm going to play a video. Then after that video, we are going to have a discussion looking at everything that you have done. So, for example, from that video, we are going to talk about products, what are product layers, how do you distribute this product, and so forth. So it's actually doing your assignment in a way, but in a revision manner. So that's why it actually helped you guys to attend this class. As I share the link of the video, I'm worried that students like Standiwe are not on WhatsApp. Are they aware? Are they aware of this class? But the link was also shared on Core Campus. Those who got the link for this class, did you get it from our WhatsApp group or from Core Campus? Guys, did you see the link on Core Campus or on this group?
We found it on WhatsApp.
Oh, okay, so I'm then worried.
Campus,
Core Campus, who found it from Core Campus? Siabonga.
me. Yes.
Okay, it means that other students then they won't kill me tomorrow saying that, hey, but you are not on WhatsApp. Why are you sharing on WhatsApp? Okay, guys, I'm sharing a screen of YouTube. Can you see it? And can you also hear the sound? Can someone confirm?
If you could say anything to him now, but you only have a short time to say it, what would you say? If you could say anything to him now, but you only have a short time to say it, what would you say to him?
Smiles a frown, yet she can't seem to turn them around. She can't seem to turn them around. Keep your
I'm really glad that you were my dad.
When a loved one passes, we say such beautiful things, words we wish we could still say to them. So Dela, a funeral insurance company, started an initiative. Why wait until it's too late? Say something wonderful today. People were given the chance to surprise someone they really care about. Using hidden cameras, we documented their speeches and used them in commercials and for online documentaries.
Ik wil graag iets opdragen aan mijn lieve ouders die hier zitten. Bedankt mama en pap dat jullie je leven in Iran hebben achtergelaten voor mij. Om mij een leven te kunnen bieden waar ik altijd van heb gedroomd. En waarvan ik nooit had gedacht dat het werkelijkheid zou worden. Ik wil jullie heel erg bedanken voor jullie moed en jullie doorzettingsvermogen. En voor alles wat jullie voor mij hebben gedaan.
Pa, ik wil je bedanken voor de mooie jaren hier. En dat niet alleen. Ik ben nu een aantal maanden getrouwd en je hebt mij enorm geholpen met klussen. Eigenlijk sta je altijd voor me klaar. Pa, ik zeg het niet vaak, maar ik hou van je.
Je bent een super zoon in moeilijke tijden en in gewone tijden. Dank je wel, lieve jongen.
Waarom zou je eigenlijk wachten met iemand bedanken als het ook nu kan?
Geld doet me voor de rest niks, maar als ik dit zo'n bedankje krijg, dan dat vind ik het fantastisch.
We also created newspaper ads with just one word, dear. People were inspired to fill in the rest, to show their love. They could upload these thoughts on our special website. Using the messages written on the ads, we created outdoor posters. Each poster was unique and personal, and displayed locally, where the person it was intended for could see it. We took over a TV channel for an evening, so people could broadcast their love, live on television. People don't want to think about death, but this campaign made them realize even more what life is about. For the first time ever, a funeral insurance company achieved a position among the top 10 best-known brands in the Netherlands. The amount of insured capital grew by 50%. But more importantly, Holland became a little more loving, thanks to our message. Why wait until it's too late? Say something wonderful today.
Did you get that, guys? Was the sound playing? Because I wouldn't know, but from my side I could hear it. Okay, perfect. I've seen confirmation from from Tando and okay, let's then go back to the screen. So as you can see, guys, this case study is about funeral cover. I know, especially in our generations, people hesitate to buy funeral policies because we believe we are still young, and for some reasons, no one is always ready to die anyway. And you feel like, you know what, siphila ubusha bethu, right? Does anyone have a funeral cover so far in this group, guys?
Does it count if you are in someone else's funeral, Pat?
Oh,
Did?
Ganj, you guys are covered through your parents.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it's interesting that they actually let you know that you are covered. Interesting. I would cover my kids and do not let them know it, so that they cannot live a reckless life knowing that they are covered. But yeah, so the reason why I'm asking this question, guys, before we carry on with the discussions, you need to understand what a funeral policy or a funeral cover is. Does anyone know about funeral policies or cover? Who can say they do not know much about funeral covers and funeral policies?
What was the question?
Who does not know anything about funeral cover or funeral policies? Okay, so it seems everyone knows about funeral cover. So it
Yeah,
simply means.
we all had SABC one. We saw Bob being advertised over and over and over again as children, and we didn't understand. But as you become an adult and you realize that and you see it yourself, you experience it yourself when you go to a family member's funeral and they were not part of the family stokfela and they were not part of FBOB, like you can tell because the funeral is just dire. It's sad. There's not enough food. People have to scratch their pockets. And then you realize that, oh, when you have a life cover, some things come with it, especially if, let's say, you have somebody who worked for the city. You can even get vegetables for preparation for the funeral from the city.
Okay. Anyone else, guys? So yeah, just to add on what Naledi has said. So funerals come with costs because funerals are on their own a gathering, and a gathering, of course, it requires people to be fed. It requires logistics, people to be ferried from one place to another, be it from the place where people are gathered to the cemeteries or to the crematoria and so forth. And also, most Black cultures, they also have this trend of having expensive coffins. I know that in some cultures, from a religious point of view, you just need to have a simple, ordinary coffin made out of, simple wood like pine or teak and so forth. But nowadays, we are seeing funerals with coffins that have got a value, exceeding the value of a car. We have a value of a coffin that is like more than 500,000, something that you're just going to be burying in the sands. I mean, for example, Somizi's mother, I think she was burying in an LV coffin. I don't know if you get, was it a Visage coffin or LV coffin? I can't remember. But I know that it was not a cheap coffin. Guys, you can correct me if I'm lying, But yeah, so since death always always come unexpected, you know. as families, always make sure that you are covering that risk, that whenever there is the unfortunate demise of a family member, we know that we can be able to cover those costs using a funeral policy or funeral cover, making sure that whatever cost that is incurred during the funeral, it doesn't have to come from your pockets, but from the insurance provider. But that means that you have to pay some monthly premiums for that insurance cover. And nowadays, funeral policies are also becoming more flexible. It's not only about that actual funeral, but also for the aftermath of that funeral. For example, if the deceased person was a breadwinner, you can have some extra money from that funeral policy that could keep you by, shortly after the funeral for the surviving members, to keep on with their lives. Yes, Naled, you had your hand up.
Wouldn't you call society, society, life cover as well, and one that can be trusted? Because, with the life cover, you have to, like, once a year, you need to go to the offices and just confirm that the paperwork is correct, that the beneficiary is going to be whoever you chose to be the beneficiary. But with society, they also, they also go to FBOB, they also go to clientele, and they have an account and it has 3 holders. So it could be the oldest woman in the group in the church who has the card, and maybe every year we vote in and out who gets to be second and who gets like secretary and who gets to be the accountant. And the thing is, you can also like keep track of these things in terms of like you can just go into the group chats and say, so somebody in my family is sick and they look like they're about to pass. Can you like tell the secretary or the accountant to get FBOB to get like my finances together just in case this person passes? And can you find out if hash, like will they take them from the church to the graveside? How many cars are they offering? Certain things like that. And sometimes with societies, they have more than one funeral cover that they depend on. So majority of these women have like FBOB and clientele because they want clientele to give them money. And then FBOB is going to offer transport and maybe to take the body to the morgue. And then with that money that we got from clientele, you can give the family money to prepare for the funeral and after the funeral. So it's like double the insurance. I don't know if you get what I'm saying, but it's the black way to do it.
Yeah, I do understand you. Burial societies, it's sort of like a burial stokvel. That's how I understand it. Yeah, just like with stokvels, this is always collective because the moment you rely on one person, we have heard several times ukuthi umama kaSiyabonga udla imali ye-burial society. Right? Yeah, people charge burial society money. So yeah, it is almost the same thing, whereby people end up using that money. So at least if there's leadership on rotation basis, looking at the treasury, the one who keeps money, and sometimes even go with that person to the banks, or have an automated debit order from different people. It always works that way. Otherwise, if it's not collective, someone will come tomorrow and say, Bamba Binkuns, lying, or even if it's true, they can even ask some Liru Nyaupe or Kotane guys, Amapara, to Bamba and stage a thing so that they can share money. So it's always tricky, the black way. But nowadays, especially looking at this economy, it's actually advisable for everyone to have a funeral policy. So we are going to look at it, from a clientele or Holland and all these insurance companies that we know that they offer funeral cover. So we need to discuss the product levels for the product that was discussed in the video. So a product must serve the basic function. So there's a basic function that a product must serve. So that's the first layer. For example, if it's a car, the basic function for a car is to move from one place to another. That's what you know about cars. It needs to move from one place to another. Yes, Tando?
Hi, sir. How are you?
I'm good, and how are you?
I'm good, thanks. So, sir, please just answer me. Like, how is funeral cover a tangible product?
Yes. I was expecting that question to come. So funeral cover is a tangible product because what you get when you claim is tangible things. For example, money is tangible. Bayibambi 100 clipper, right? A coffin is tangible. Now a coffin is born. Are you answered, Tando?
Oh, okay, yeah, no, makes sense.
Yeah, but we need to say Tando. Oh, say what? You don't speak like that in class.
I'm sorry, it's my voice. It's not.
I know it's in the morning. So yeah, that's how, guys. Funeral policy on itself is a product, but when you are paying for the premiums and stuff like that, it would appear as if a funeral cover is a service. But the aspects that even when you are applying for that cover, Tando, you'd realize that you can even select the kind of a coffin that you want. Do you want the cover to include a 3-tire coffin or a Nguni coffin? So all of a sudden you are selecting a product, something that you own, you know? Because after that coffin, you have it as a family. It's no longer in the ownership of the company that sold you the coffin, through the funeral cover. So what is the first layer, guys? The product layer of funeral cover. I gave you guys an example of a car.
I'd say death.
You want people to die, when?
No.
Okay. So yeah, from what Tando is mentioning there, the basic aspect that the funeral cover someone has to die, unfortunately, But with that death, the product that has to be satisfied, in this case, the first layer would be primary things that are covered to make sure that the burial, is well respected. So the first thing here will be the coffin, right? Because whenever someone passes on, the first thing that you need to make arrangements on as a family, yikuthi uzohamba ngani, uzofaka coffin enjani. Isn't it so, guys? Or that doesn't matter. You can even wrap that person in a body bag then. Guys, it's a discussion, so I'd like to hear more from you guys. So
For some people, it doesn't matter as long as it's a coffin.
Okay, but yes, I understand what you are saying, Naledi. But isn't it a coffin must the first thing to be covered on a funeral, because a coffin is a must. If you are doing body viewing, for example, we need to know the coffin. I don't know. So yeah, for me, remember, guys, the reason why I'm saying for me, Sia, you had your mic unmuted.
Yes, sir, I was about to say that's true.
Mm.
It matters.
Yeah. So the reason why I'm saying for me, remember, funerals, guys, also differ with cultures. customs, religion, and so forth. But mostly whenever someone dies, we need to think about what kind of a coffin are we going to put this person in, and that coffin obviously determined by the price and stuff like that. So the coffin would be the first layer, of a funeral product. And it also depends because nowadays you're also seeing a shift in culture whereby some people are no longer buried, but they get cremated. And most black cultures are also doing that because cremation it wasn't more like an African culture from my own understanding. Do you know anything about cremation, guys?
Yes, sir.
Who wants to be cremated? So yeah, with cremation, I don't know if a coffin is needed. So you also need to think about that because funeral companies are also would cater for that. If it's cremation, they will have cremation services as the primary layer of that product. Then after the coffin, guys, what else do you think a funeral cover need to include? Of course, there's transport, there is food. Sometimes they can also cover the cost for a morgue. Do you know, guys, that you pay a certain fee? Some mortuaries, you do not just keep a body there. Do you know that, guys? Nothing's for
Yes, we
mahala, hey?
do.
Yes, so
Yes, sir.
some funeral covers will then include the costs for a morgue or even to secure the burial place. So those then become a second layer. So we have secured a coffin, which is a first layer. Now we can have a
So,
second layer. Yebo Tando.
sorry, sir. What about the autopsy? Like, let's say the autopsy isn't covered by the state in terms of like if it's an
Yes.
accident, or then
That
that
can,
fee, it falls onto the family. So
I believe so. I've never seen it on funeral policies, but I believe so because sometimes families don't want answers, especially if it's not necessarily an accident, but an unexplained death. Maybe the person was poisoned and they have it in their guts that no, man, there's something that needs to be understood here. Then yeah, a funeral cover must also include an autopsy. And autopsy I can actually also be part of a primary layer because it has to happen before the body is buried.
yes,
Mm.
buried, yes.
Or even maybe the deceased was killed as a result of violence. You need to see to internal injuries through an autopsy and stuff like that. Thank you so much for that, Tando. Then what about the third layer, guys? Nowadays, funerals, guys, have got after tears. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Oh yeah, the groceries and stuff and
Mm.
biscuits.
Kuyajayiva ngale kuma-funerals, Nowadays, funerals, there's a shift from mourning the deceased versus celebrating the life of a beloved one. So, for example, if the person who died was a bubbly person who was known to hang out, we would rather not cry for him or her, but would rather replicate what he was doing, celebrating that person's life. I don't know if you guys have come across that. Yes, Naledi, your hand was up.
I think that's a black people thing.
All of a sudden, you are pouring expensive champagnes on the grave.
Because you know what's the sad part? You guys come for after tears, it's a vibe. Then you don't come the following week to check on the family. You don't even pass by le zambanyana le re dumelang ne re popa champagne last weekend le sharp le go sharp conclude. No, you forget about these people. So that's why I think it's a black thing, because like when you go to Jewish or Muslim funerals and whatever, we go there, we bury, they don't even cook. We have sandwiches, we have cookies and tea, we discuss for 20 minutes and you leave.
Okay, so you wouldn't advocate for an after party celebrating someone's life?
No.
All right. Yeah, but from a funeral policy point of view, nowadays there are even relatives who are selecting, decor, catering. Funerals are actually becoming dynamic. Like it becomes a huge function. Even have certain attires. All of a sudden you tell people that the theme will be white or will be black. Bringing in broadcasters, photographers and those video production guys, hiring an expensive MC. Now all of a sudden people have got makeups. They can't even cry naturally at a funeral because they're going to mess up their makeup. So funerals are actually becoming an extravagant party nowadays, a luxury party, depending on the deceased and so forth. So all
So,
those things must be decided now by funeral insurance service providers to see whether they can add them as extra layers to the initial product that we discussed being a coffin. Yes, Naledi.
a third layer could also be sounds, because people don't want to sing at the cemeteries anymore. Now they bring speakers and then they play the playlist that you wanted for the funeral.
Yes. And DJs don't come cheap. So you can actually have a DJ at a funeral and select a theme for the songs that has to be sung there. So guys, can you see how we discuss the product layers? So it is the same way you are going to discuss them in the assignment. Okay, there's the service that are enhancing a physical product. Of course, yes, we have got physical products like a coffin, physical products like sound, but we also have services. For example, if it's an MC, he's selling his services. He does not have a product himself, but it's just an MC. And you know that, guys, you can hire an MC. What type of distribution channels are they making use of? So think about your whole lot and your clientele, guys. What channels are funeral policy providers using? Yes, Sia.
So I want to ask about the product layers. Do we have to mention on 1.1 that this is layer number 1, this is layer number 2, this is layer number 3, and
Yes,
layer number
correct.
4?
Yes,
Or
and we are not.
we can
Continue.
or 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 maybe you can just um 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 ex explain what the product is about.
So, for example, in question 1.1, you have a sentence telling me what the unique consumer product is. So it means that this product must be used by consumers, not businesses. That's why it says unique consumer product. It does not say unique business product. Remember, they are business products, they are consumer products. So you mentioned that in a sentence. Then once you mention the product, and then you say below are the layers that this product is going to cover. Then in bullet point form, you don't need to create another new numbering because I'm avoiding that you are going to have distorted numbering, initial numberings provided by the assignment and your own numbering. So just put bullets. In bullet point, you'd say the first layer is A, B, C, D. The reason why this is the first layer is because of X, Y, Z. Then you go to the second bullet. The second layer is A, B, C, D. The reason why this layer is attached to the product is because of A, B. until you are done. Then you go to question 1.2. Are you fully answered, Sia?
Yes, sir.
Guys, are you all answered? It's my pleasure, Sia. All right. So what kind of distribution channels would you use, guys? Would you sell funeral policy directly? Or would you use wholesalers? Who would you use?
Wholesalers.
To reach? Why wholesalers? Why not directly?
People don't like to talk about death directly. So I think with wholesalers, it would be through chatbots. It could be through people who call you and say, can we convince you to join FBOB? Through SMSs. It's better that way than directly saying, hey, I looked you up and your family has diabetes, so you guys are prone to die in the next 15 years. Join my life cover.
Okay.
Clientele used to sell directly through that
All right.
that black department of theirs, NCR or NPR. I'm not sure. Back in the days.
All right. Would you use other businesses like banks?
Yes.
Remember, guys, most companies nowadays are not selling directly their insurance. They are using, like, for example, we have Standard Bank funeral cover underwritten by Holland. I don't know if you've seen that, guys.
Yes.
So that's a way of distributing the cover, because also consumers will prefer having many products with a single entity, so that when debit orders are coming in, there's no confusion. So if I'm banking with Standard Bank, I'd prefer having data with Standard Bank. I'd prefer having life policy with Standard Bank. I'd prefer having funeral policy with Standard Bank. I'd prefer having vehicle insurance with Standard Bank. I'd prefer having data with Standard Bank, like everything in one house. So that's why you see entities like DSTV, entities like banks, your FNB, even your supermarkets, your Ackermans, they have funeral cover, which is underwritten by the main provider of the funeral. So your Hollard, your AFBOB, your clientele, they are now partnering with those institutions, so that they get a share of their customers and sell, funeral cover with them. I don't know if it's something that you are seeing, guys.
We've seen, sir. Even Capitec has life cover and what.
Okay, so that's how you distribute it, and we must also think about it, guys, with the product that you are going to create. How are you going to make sure that this product reach people on the streets? Are you going to use other institutions, or are you going to do it directly? And from a funeral point of view, as Naledi mentioned, it's always tricky to sell directly. In fact, I think people avoid funeral cover, funeral insurance companies more than they ignore something else. How do you feel, guys, right now, if you receive a phone call and it says it's from Holland or it's from AFBO? Let's be honest and realistic.
I wouldn't answer.
So even SMSs, even whenever there is a funny call, when someone, let's say you are a cheater. Yeah, here comes Jolo Party. You are a cheater. You see someone turning off the phone saying that, no, don't worry, baby. It is one of those insurance companies. Maybe they are selling me stuff. So insurance companies have actually been known to bothering or frustrating people a lot. Isn't it so, guys?
Yes, sir.
Even SMSs and stuff like that. So now, a strategy, a digital marketing strategy that insurance company would then use is to partner with, other institutions. For example, if you receive a call now says it's from Standard Bank, and you know that you bank with Standard Bank, that's where your money is. You would give Standard Bank an attention because you know that, hey, Baba, there's 500 rands in my account to Standard Bank. Maybe it's something to do with my balance. Then you take their call, then all of a sudden they're telling you about insurance. Or if it's Ackermans or it's Jet, you know that you have an account with them, So it's better to receive phone calls from those than directly from insurance companies. So think about the distribution channels, guys, that you are going to be using, because that's crucial, and that's also relevant because it determines how far you are going to go with the sales of that product. So think about that in your assignments, guys. Then, of course, you can also think about the levels of distribution. Is it unique? Is it exclusive? There are products that are very exclusive that only a few can get. Then there are products that can be done for mass consumption that everyone can get. We discussed that in class. Then you need to think about the pricing strategy. Are you going to have, for example, a steady price per month? Remember, most funeral cover is that you pay a premium per month, but their premiums increase every year, maybe by 10%. Considering the inflation and everything, or some it becomes a once-off and so forth. And some, if it's within the waiting period, because insurance companies have also discovered that you would go and take insurance cover when you know that you're already dying. So they've got a 3 months waiting period to see that if you're not going to die within 3 months, then we're going to cover you. I don't know if you guys are aware of that.
I had no idea. Oh no, sir, isn't that why we have to go for like a yearly checkup where your doctor does blood work, urine work, and everything to confirm that you're still healthy? Because I was wondering why all of us had to go, like from my dad to my mom to the youngest sibling. We all had to do tests.
Yeah, most of those tests they are more related to life cover than funeral policy. Because
Oh, really?
funeral policy, I think an exception is if you commit suicide, they wouldn't cover something like that. It depends also with the kind of a cover that we have. But most cases, suicides are not. I need to sketch a look. They're not covered in most cases.
So iyalapha menjalo, but the family gets nothing.
Yes, because because of validity, the suicide note that you are going. This is for unexpected death, guys. It makes sense from another point, you see. That's why you guys must not commit suicide. Talk to us. Let's share what you are going through instead of, but I know that to some, it's difficult. It's difficult. Suicide is actually a sensitive topic.
Very.
Imagine if you had a life policy of 5 million, that if you're going to die, your family is going to be left with 5 million. Then you decide to take your life and arrive on level 5 million, and you've been paying for 5 years. So yes, guys, there's pricing strategy that you need to tell me about the product that you are developing. If that is asked in the assignment, you need to let me know. Then, of course, you need to talk about the value equation as well. Remember, we discussed the value equation in the previous weeks. For example, if you take a big coffin, it means that we provide you transport for 500 people. But if you take a small coffee, it will provide you, with 200 people, something like that. So the value that you're going to get out of it and so forth. Then, of course, what kind of digital media? Remember, I spoke about digital media, guys. What kind of digital media would you use for insurance? Would you use videos? Would you use still images? Would you look for someone who's crying and put them there? Yes, yeah.
Television ads.
Okay. What else? Why television ad? Do you mind sharing?
Because like a lady said, we know the ads from when we were young, and they used to they used to play around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, you what is called a prime time. So around those times, more people are watching the TV, so it's easier for that ad to reach a lot of people.
Okay. So yeah, television, of course, it helps. It can also give you visuals that can create, a sense of agency, showing the reality of what is happening. I mean, clientele try, but sometimes people, as we discussed at the beginning, that, would not want to hear more about, funeral than anything else. Imagine someone is selling you savannah, all of a sudden you want to give them attention, but someone is selling you funeral, you do not want. Then, of course, an example of media convergence that we saw in this video, they used traditional media. People were asked to write their letters, physically, then it was shared online. So that's media convergence. Remember, we discussed media convergence in class, where you can bring multiple media platforms to share a campaign or a story. So via email, via TV, same story, same theme, but using different platforms with links that will take you to different platforms as well. For example, if it's a billboard on the road, you can have a QR code there that talks about the same campaign but in video format. So the QR code will take you to YouTube. So that's media convergence. Then let's talk about physical evidence. Remember, guys, we spoke about the 7 Ps. What is it as a consumer, guys, from a funeral point of view, can convince you to say that, yeah, I'm going to take this cover? Is it the picture of a coffin? What is it? That will make you differentiate one cover from another.
You learn from experience. So we pay attention to family members when they're dealing with different life covers. So there's life covers that pay 2 days before the funeral, and there's life covers that pay a week before the funeral. There's life covers where they have proper communication, where you know who's the agent that's handling the money transfers, so you can contact them and have a smooth communication because they understand that you're grieving. And then there's life covers where everything is just handled, there's no communication, you just get money sent to your account and you handle everything going forth. You tell them, I need the cars this day. We are going to view the coffin. I'll send you an email. This is the coffin we want. Or they send you an email and say, these are the options you have. Choose one. And then, yeah. And then that's when you hear through word of mouth. Maybe you hear an auntie that says, "Oh, F Bob was so stressful. I never want to deal with them again." And then you hear an auntie that said, "Oh, clientele was so smooth. I didn't even have to stress. By the time the funeral happened, I wasn't even worried about anything but my outfit."
Okay. Yeah, that's very true because funerals are mostly it's a difficult time for the family. They want to mourn their beloved one. So, some funeral providers will take over everything. They'll be like, you know what, when I focus on crying, focus on mourning your beloved one, then we are going to take over the kitchen, the food and everything. We'll do everything for you. You just make sure that you're giving your beloved one a dignified funeral. Then some, they will leave you to do anything. And remember, guys, at funerals, that's where more drama also happens. You've got those aunties who want to still meet at a funeral. They don't even care whether, abantu buy a car and stuff. You realize that, what disappear, what disappear, this and this and that. Some would even steal plates or utensils, Some glasses would be missing, or some will end up even poisoning their relatives there. I mean, there are people that I know, for example, who were poisoned at the funeral and they are gone. You are going there to cry for someone, you are getting killed there. So at least if you have got an external provider that is going to take care of everything, no one is going to be close to your pots, no one is going to be close to your cars and stuff like that. Then you let the family give their beloved ones a proper send off. Yeah, funerals and weddings narrated, they always have drama, eh? Are there any questions so far, guys? Does it make sense? Is this exercise giving you some good perspectives, especially from an assignment point of view?
Yeah, you're helping me do my assignment now. I'm drafting ideas now, doing markings now and saying, okay, now I understand what my product requires, and how to move forward. But yeah, let's continue, sir.
Okay. So yeah, the theme must always matter. Especially, for example, if you are selling selling a product that brings joy, we need to see joy in that product. The atmosphere itself must bring you joy. Go to a weed store, the one that sells weed. I've seen one in Braamfontein. The way they advertise that product, you actually feel like, if I'm going to use this thing, I'm going to have good vibes from it. And then funeral policy, the story must be said because it is something mourning, grieving time, okay? If it's a wedding, so I want to see those kind of things, guys. Your product must match the theme. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know if it makes sense, people.
Yes, sir.
All right, that's it about lesson 19. Then we are going to go to lesson 20. Then lesson 20 tomorrow we'll only do lesson 21. Are we good so far, guys?